It began like every summer barbecue we'd ever hosted. Laughter, the smell of ribs on the grill, and a backyard buzzing with conversation. I'd spent the afternoon hanging lights over the patio and seasoning the steaks, while my wife, Tara, did what she did best, look flawless. She thrived on attention, and I'd always admired that confidence of hers. But lately, that confidence had turned into something sharper, arrogant, distant. There had been quiet signs, hush phone calls, late nights at the office, and that faraway look whenever I tried to talk about us. I told myself it was just stress, but deep down I knew something had shifted. The first Rail warning came a few weeks before. Out of nowhere, she'd said, "Monogamy feels outdated." I laughed, assuming it was one of her jokes, but the serious calm in her eyes made my stomach twist. When I asked what she meant, she shrugged lightly. "I just think people should have the freedom to explore." I didn't argue. I just nodded, wondering what happened to the woman I'd married. Nothing, however, prepared me for what she pulled that night at the barbecue. The evening was in full swing. Neighbors, her co-workers, laughter, music, the usual summer warmth. I was tending the grill when Tara tapped her glass to get everyone's attention. "Everyone," she said playfully, that polished grin lighting up her face. "I have a little announcement." I remember how her eyes sparkled. That same performative glint she used when she won a spotlight. "Mark and I," she began, "have decided to try something new. We're opening our marriage." At first, people chuckled, assuming she was teasing. But when I didn't laugh, the mood shifted. A heavy silence replaced the chatter. I stood there, tongs in hand, my heart pounding. She hadn't told me a thing, not a word. And yet there she was, declaring it to a crowd. Her smirk widened, waiting for me to crumble, to blush, to look weak. But I didn't. Something inside me clicked. Not rage, not heartbreak, just a sharp, icy calm. I placed the tongs down, wiped my hands, and walked over to where she stood surrounded by her co-workers. Then I turned to her best friend, Rachel, and smiled. "Well," I said smoothly, "if that's the case, Rachel, would you like to go out with me next weekend?" The backyard felt utterly still. You could hear the ice settle in a glass somewhere. Rachel froze mid-sip, color rushing to her face. Tara's confident smile cracked instantly. "You can't do that," she snapped, voice trembling. "Why not?" I asked lightly, tilting my head. "You just said we're open, didn't you? I'm only following your lead." The smirks around us faded. Tara's posture stiffened, her knuckles whitening around her wine glass. "Mark, that's not funny," she hissed. "Neither is making our marriage a public spectacle." I replied evenly. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as she spun on her heel and stormed inside. I turned back to the grill and flipped a burger, smiling politely at guests who didn't know where to look. That wasn't revenge, it was a boundary. For years of swallowing disrespect for the sake of peace had ended right there, because peace without respect is nothing. When she finally came back out, her face was composed, but her confidence was gone. The queen had lost her crown. Later, after everyone left, the silence in the house was unbearable. She hurled her glass into the sink and screamed, "How could you humiliate me like that?" I turned to her, calm and steady. "You did that yourself when you made our marriage a public joke." Her eyes softened, maybe for the first time in months, realizing I wasn't the pushover she thought I was. "Mark, I didn't mean it that way," she said quietly. "Then how did you mean it?" I asked. "You wanted freedom, but only for yourself?" She had no reply. In the days that followed, she tried to fix things. Long talks, teary apologies, promises that it was all a misunderstanding. But once trust is broken publicly, it's gone for good. I stayed polite, distant, already planning my way out. 2 weeks later, I handed her the divorce papers. She cried, begged, said she made a mistake. But love that's mocked in front of others doesn't survive. Months later, I ran into Rachel at a cafe. She smiled and said, "I still can't believe that night. You handled it like a king." I chuckled softly. Sometimes silence is power, I told her, but sometimes calm revenge is louder. Word eventually got back to me. Tara had left town. Her office never let her forget that night. And me? I moved on, not bitter, just wiser. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't anger or shouting. It's peace. The kind that comes from walking away while they drown in their own chaos. That night, when she tried to humiliate me, she taught me something I'll never forget. The moment someone publicly disrespects your love, they've already ended the relationship. You're just the one brave enough to say goodbye.